we have a number of questions for you.
अच्छा.
एक तो हमारे यहीं पे दुबई के चैप्टर के एक वॉलंटियर हैं काशिफ नकवी, और उन्होंने सवाल पूछा है कि are you afraid of life? Just wanted to ask, what does Rashid think about life, death and wish या फिर ख्वाहिशात या nafs symbolically from this poem? Basically these are the terms which lead us to incline towards dar.
ये में खौफ की तरफ ले जाते हैं
खौफ जी.
Yes, and so Rashid was very much interested. So basically, I've actually found this is incredible connection. But he's actually in one of his poems I've mentioned in my book. He was translating. He's very interested in this kind of late Freudian thinker named Norman Brown, and I think that a bunch of them were reading him at that time. So I've talked about this in my book. I don't think anybody's picked up on this in Urdu criticism yet, but he's basically, he has this other poem, Ye Khala Purna Hua, do you want something like to read that one? That would be, it's in Guman Ka Mumkin.
ये नज़्म मैंने पहले हाल ही में तो नहीं पढ़ी, इसलिए फिर से पेश की माजरत. ये खला पुरना हुआ, ज़हन खाली है खला नूर से या नगमे से, या नखते गुमराह से भी पुरना हुआ, ज़हन खाली ही रहा. ये खला हरफ तसल्ली से तबस्सुम से किसी आह से भी पुरना हुआ. एक नफ़ी लर्जिश पहम में से ही, जहदे बेकार के मातम में से ही, हम जो नारस भी हैं गमदीदा भी इस खला को इसी दहलीज पे सोए हुए सरमस्त गदा की मानिंद किसी मीनार की तस्वीर से या रंग की झनकार से या ख्वाबों की खुशबुओं से पुर क्यों ना करें कि अजल हमसे बहुत दूर है, बहुत दूर है. नहीं, हम जानते हैं हम जो नारस भी हैं गमदीदा भी हैं, जानते हैं कि खला है वो जिसे मौत नहीं, किस लिए नूर से या नगमे से या हरफ तसल्ली से इसे जिस्म बनाएं और फिर मौत की वारफ्ता पजीराई करें, नए हंगामों की तजलील का दरबाज करें, सुबह तकमील का आगाज करें. जी.
Yes, so there's a number of poems. Khaskar many of you read the other one. I was thinking about doing is Ta'aruf, the introduction, which is another kind of famous one. But you can see even in so basically, there's this idea here that that there's a fear of death and that's plaguing humankind. इसका मतलब है कि लोग मौत से डरते हैं और इसी की वजह से वो अपने वो एक फॉर्म ऑफ रिप्रेशन होता है, वो जो खासकर जिस्म के खिलाफ होता है. और इस नज़्म में एक हद तक वो कह रहे हैं कि हम जिस्म भी होते हैं और वो ठीक है. और वो उनका एक ख्याल था कि जैसे उन्होंने एक इंटरव्यू में बताया कि वो एक जैसे मैंने पहले बताया वो सोचते हैं कि वो एक पंजाबी पोएट हैं और इसलिए लखनवी उर्दू के खिलाफ वो जिस्म और के बारे में भी सोचते हैं और कुदरत और वो सब माबादो फजर की मंजिल पहुंचने तक नहीं है. So ये इनका एक ख्याल है. So in a simple sense, there's this idea in Urdu शायरी में जब लोग read it in particular ways, एक मकसद है जो वो है वसल और वहाँ तक पहुँचने में वो आशिक मरता रहता है. और राशिद इसके खिलाफ थे. वो कह रहे हैं नहीं, जीते रहो और अपने आप को इज़हार कीजिए और ऐसी बात. So वो जरूर मौत के बारे में बहुत सोच रहे हैं. मौत की वजह से लोग people are not living freely, and then there's different forms of kind of repression and so on of death and और उनका मतलब ये है कि मौत के बिना जीना का कोई मकसद नहीं होगा, ये उनका ख्याल है.
I think he has another poem on that subject, Taruf, where he's actually inviting death. Ajal in simil ke ye sada dil. I think it talks about the same thing.
Yeah, actually, it's a different poem that in which he basically actually quotes from. It's called Talab Ketale, in which he actually kind of quotes from Norman Brown within the Urdu poetry without any citation. It was quite a find. and it's the same sort of Gulo Yasmin kal se na ashna kal se be etna Gulo Yasmin apne jismon ki hayat में फर्द मगर कल से न आशना कल से बेइतना किसी मर्गे मगरम का दर्द उनके दिल में नहीं. So this difference between liking Gumon ka mumkin, between kind of the nature of this wo patar ki, the difference he's saying between the nature and kind of human life as well, and the importance of death for the significance of human life.
So there's a question here that says, thanks for an illuminating talk, and interested in knowing more about your method as a translator. How do you conceptualize the role of the translator, the fidelity debate? I think you mentioned this a little bit earlier. Crudely, who does the translator owe allegiance to in your eyes? Also, we talk about the damage translations may sometimes cause foreign texts and their respective cultures. Can you please talk more about your practice and how in your work you endeavor to prevent or limit the damage? I think there's this, right now, I think she may be referring to Madiha, or is referring possibly to आजकल जो ट्विटर पे एक चल रहा है कि रूमी इस्लाम निकाल दिया है रूमी की शायरी में से, और it's a very poor translation. So she may be referring to that they can also damage or cause foreign texts because it's their personal purview about what they would like to interpret from a particular sentence. और आजकल इसके ऊपर बहुत डिबेट चल रही है कि जिस रूमी के साथ जो हशर अमेरिका में और वेस्ट में हो रहा है, she may be referring to that.
Yes. So what I've tried to do with what I said earlier is, so I'm coming from, my advisor Frances Pritchett was very into literal translations and also the form of estrangement that comes from that. So her translations of the Ghalib, for example, are fairly literal. So what I was trying to do in my translations was to be accurate and literal, but also just to get rid of some of the, as I said, some of the things that don't carry any meaning in English as well, and also to just try and make it sound good in English. So it's kind of, and my English is different. Meri Angrezi alag hai, or so that's kind of more. I was trying to make it. It's kind of so in more of a sort of American English, and in terms of the translations. So I'm kind of less. A lot of people in the जो Urdu tarjuma करते हैं वो हमेशा accuracy के बारे में सोचते हैं, or I think that that's important, but also you want to वो उसकी आवाज की ज़रूरत भी है, उनकी आहंग की ज़रूरत भी होती है, और and so now like in आजकल, so for this book I did most of the, I didn't have anybody helping me, so I did all the work kind of, I taught मैं लोगों से बात करता था, like, and I did all of the translations myself, but at the last moment right before it was published, Salimur Rahman read through them, so he caught a number of errors as well. But I'm thinking आजकल मैं सोच रहा हूँ कि I'm thinking more now about most जब हम लिखते हैं हम अकेले नहीं होते, यानी हमारी ज़हन में काफी बहुत आवाजें आती हैं. So I'm thinking now more about जब मैं तर्जुमा करता हूँ, मैं दोस्तों के साथ तर्जुमा करना चाहता हूँ, और मेरी उम्मीद ये है कि अगर हम उर्दू में लिखना शुरू करता है तो वो भी अंग्रेजी तक पहुंच सके. So I'm thinking more about ways of doing translation that is kind of sustainable and also open to multiple people, and that it's not, it's not necessarily single authored. So maybe I'd rather work with collaborators in the future, but yeah.
We have a question from Facebook. एक और सवाल ये है मुईज़ अहमद खान का कि I've read that Rashid is credited with establishing Azad Shairi that doesn't necessarily follow the rhyme and meter of conventional ghazal or nazm. Why do you think Rashid chose Azad Shairi as a medium? One hypothesis is that for Rashid, his thought and message was more important than the pre-established conventions of poetry. Do you agree with that?
Well, he was very, I'll have to kind of review my notes, and his position changed somewhat a little bit over time. But if you read the introductions to Mavra and Iran Mein Ajnabi, and then for his later volume, there's an interview. So he's very kind of expressing of what he's trying to do. But basically, the Unka Khayal ye tha ki Farsi, or that the Persian forms are part of Urdu and they're natural and they're not something foreign. That's my reading of it. And no, and then he said so himself in his own writings. For someone like him, is part of his own cultural heritage to a certain extent. And so his original, I haven't actually cut all this stuff out of the book. I'm working on it separately, but his original. In Mavra, you can actually just reduce it to 2 patterns. And so it's very close to Fazl. You just have the different Latun or something is repeating. I've done some graphs and such for that. So the idea, so he would say things like this: for modern experience, you're too confined by rhyme. It's very much kind of the same way someone like Hawley might have. But it still needs to be familiar enough, and it has to have its own sort of ahang, that the poem itself has to have an ahang, and through that, and it needs to be close to what we're used to, but it can't be, it has to break with the form. That was kind of his perspective.
Siddharth actually has a question, and this is a good segue. You just mentioned Farsi. So he said you mentioned references to Iran and Persia in some, but not all of his poetry. To what extent was his poetry also historical, social, or political commentary?
That's a good question. So the way that people normally look at Rashid's life and poetry is the same way that they look at Iqbal and everybody else, is that there's this idea that you kind of start locally and then you think more about Asia and then you think about the whole world and so on. So within Rashid's poetry, the later work, it becomes more abstract and there are less kind of references to particular geographies and so on. So that was interpreted by some of his critics as a moving into his Zat or something when he went abroad, and losing concern with society. But his Mavra, the first volume, is very kind of focused on, in my reading, of looking at the psychological effects of colonialism. So how would you do that? No, abadiyat ki nasiyati asar, I don't know. Basically the idea of looking at the way that colonialism, what effects does that have on the self. And then his Iran Mein Ajnabi is very much about the Cold War and looking at, he's actually writing from the perspective of different Indian soldiers in Iran during World War II. So what's interesting there is, for Rashid, Persian kind of seems like it's part of his heritage. And then when he goes to Iran, there's this kind of defamiliarized experience. But then there's also something familiar in that there's the same, at that period, the same forces of colonialism or more like imperialism are active. And so he's comments there a lot about the kind of Soviet propaganda within Iran, which he refers to as Hamaust, which is U is the Persian for wool. So Hamaust, so it means and it means kind of pantheism. So there's a lot of historical things, but then it gets a bit more abstract later. But still the same sort of critique of teleology is there, and of kind of certainty. And also of limited kind of forms of community and belonging.
अगर और सवाल हैं तो अभी व्यूअर्स जो हैं वो हमें चैट बॉक्स में या फेसबुक पे प्लीज भेज दें, और अगर फराज और अलीम या any of the other viewers
नहीं शॉन, आपके बारे में जब तारुफ पहुंचा तो यही बहुत खुशी की बात थी कि आप अमेरिका में बैठे उर्दू पे और फिर राशिद पे काम कर रहे हैं। अब इस गुफ्तगू के दौरान में आपने दो मजीद ऐसे हवाले बता दिए, एक लाहौर का कि आप लाहौर में रहे और फिर अंदरून शहर में रहे, क्या कहने, बहुत खुशी हुई जान। और फिर आपने अपनी किताब के बारे में भी हम पे रोब डाल दिया कि आप सलीमुर रहमान साहब को दिखा चुके हैं। तो जो लोग नहीं जानते वो भी उनके लिए अर्ज कर दूं कि पाकिस्तान में अदब के सरपरस्तों में और बड़ी हस्ती हैं और तर्जुमे के ऊपर भी ख़ास महारत रखते हैं। उन्होंने बहुत से मगरबी अदब का उर्दू में तर्जुमा किया भी है, करवाया भी है, नाशिर भी हैं बहुत अरसे से। तो आपके इन हवालों ने तो आपकी जो कदर थी वो हमारी निगाहों में मजीद बढ़ा दी।
Yeah, Salim Saab is really an incredible person, and it's been so. I mean, meeting and also my friend Asif Faruqi was, also this incredibly, generous kind of literary figure, and so it's a wonderful community, and I'm doing some other work I can talk later about with a poet named Ahmed Atta, who's a well-known poet, has been doing collections of poetry in different languages for projects. I'd love to, as that gets done, I'd love to tell you more about that project. And we have another top secret Urdu related project that you'll be hearing about probably within a month or so.
It's so top secret, we'll be hearing about it. ये तो मुझे लगता है कि ये एक ही सिटिंग में जो है वो गुफ्तगू ख़त्म नहीं हो सकती। एक बहुत ही मामूली सा सवाल है मेरी तरफ से, वो ये था कि आपकी सबसे पसंदीदा पोएटिक और प्रोज, अदबी और शायरी ट्रांसलेशन अंग्रेजी में किसकी हैं?
I've been very impressed there's some amazing translators right now. Daisy Rockwell is doing wonderful work, and Matt Reek, R-E-E-C-K, who's at and he's also been working with collaborators as well, and then there's amazing people, like Musharraf Faruqi has done all of this, yes, these beautiful translations of just incredible. So I'm really amazed by these people. There's some people, they're really kind of hardcore translators, and they just kind of, I don't know, get taken over and work and make these beautiful things. So I really hope we think more about translation, and we can kind of return to a discussion about it, because it's really kind of within the, at least within the academy, it's really kind of lowered in prestige, and also as an area of discussion. So I hope that we can kind of come back to that as well.
We have one of we have Tahira Hussain Naqvi. We had her from NYU, and she's the English translator of a lot of Ismat Chughtayi's works. She's online. I don't know who else is online, but I just saw that she was online. So if nobody else has any questions, I think बाकी सब लोगों से इजाज़त हम मांगेंगे। बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया हमारे सामईन का, जिनको हमने बिल्कुल आखिरी मौके पर इस ख़ास प्रोग्राम के बारे में बताया, और about this very special program that Sean Poe, of course, agreed to do this for Nuneem Rashid's birthday, which is in a few days, and also to our wonderful team in the background, जिनको आप नहीं देख रहे, लेकिन वो इस वक्त बैकग्राउंड में बहुत से लोगों ने किया है और अब करेंगे और अभी कर रहे हैं, और उनका बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। और ख़ास तौर पे फराज और अलीम, जिनको बिल्कुल वही आखिरी मौके पर ये कहा गया कि आपने अपना काम, ऑफिस का काम इमीडिएटली छोड़ के और ये पढ़ना है, बस कुछ भी कर लें, क्योंकि हम मौका नहीं जाने दे सकते कि शॉन प्यू जो हैं वो मान गए हैं। एंड ऑफ कोर्स थैंक यू for agreeing to do this at this last minute. So we hope we will give everyone ample advance notice for the next one, inshallah. This was a sudden plan. So thank you everyone for being here. और बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया.
Okay, thank you everyone.